It's Time to Build by Marc Andreessen. In April of 2020, Marc Andreessen wrote this essay, It's Time to Build. Given that I recently reviewed and spoke about his techno-optimist manifesto, his recent paper about how technology should technological advancement should govern everything that we do, I figured let's rewind the clock to April 2020 when he wrote this one. I love this paper. It's in the height of the pandemic, when right before Operation Warp Speed has its success that in warp speed time really creates the vaccines for the American people. But he writes that there's widespread unpreparedness for the COVID-19 pandemic, and really just we as a society have stopped building. He says that obviously, like, there's systems and infrastructure in the healthcare sector that just should have been prepared, whether it's ventilators or PPE, but really there's just a broader stagnation across many industries, that in education or housing or manufacturing, construction, transportation, there's little productivity gains. And for me, as someone in construction, I see it daily that the way that we build today is not that much different than we built 20 years ago, and certainly less productive than we did when we were building the Brooklyn Bridge. And now today's public works happen at a snail's pace compared to the previous generation's ability to build infrastructure projects. And he says there's root causes: lack of desire, inertia, regulatory capture by agencies and government, and really there's just an insufficient political will to do great things, to build great projects. I love this. I think it's exactly the problem that we face, that there's that both sides on all political spectrums, there's just a lack of ability to think about great things and do great things. And when we do allocate funds, like you saw under the Obama administration, for great works, that they just don't get built. That they, if you look in China, there's high-speed rail from Shanghai to Beijing. The high-speed rail in California took years to build, and it's only a small fraction of what it was meant to be. We don't build great things anymore, and the American dream depends on it. We need to revitalize the American dream to do great things again, to build great things. The Biden administration allocated a ton of funding for infrastructure. Trump has an entire career in building. This is the time to reverse the stagnation in our industries and think greatly. Construction is a great example of just the amount of productivity per worker today compared to 100 years ago is at the same levels or lower. And yes, there are gains that have been made, particularly in safety, but the amount that we can build relative to our peers, relative to China, relative to Europe, it's an embarrassment. So Marc Andreessen, It's a Time to Build. It's a 5 year. I'm a little late. It's been 5 years since he wrote it, but applies today more than ever.